Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the unseen engine that powers your everyday shopping experiences, human resource management in the retail sector. It's this massive, intricate ecosystem operating right in front of us, but honestly, the actual mechanics of it remain totally invisible to the average consumer just walking down the aisle. Seriously, have you ever stopped and wondered who actually ensures the retail employees you interact with are ready, motivated, and capable of helping you? Think about it. You walk into a store, someone guides you, rings up your stuff, maybe handles a return. But who manages the people managing your shopping experience? Well, it takes a massive amount of planning and strategy behind the scenes to make that seamless interaction happen. To unpack all this, we're going to cover a few key areas. We'll start by decoding HRM itself, then look at why retail is such a uniquely challenging arena. From there, we'll hit the core activities and roles of the HR manager and wrap up with the daily hurdles and major emerging challenges they face today. All right, let's jump into part one, decoding HRM at both the macro and the micro level. So, human resources is essentially an organization's most complex, vulnerable, and ultimately valuable asset. And it's an asset that actually appreciates over time if you invest in it properly. At its core, HRM is the structured day-to-day management of people, hiring, setting pay, managing performance. But it also covers the bigger picture, the macro employment relationship between leadership and the workforce. This dual approach is absolutely crucial to keep employees motivated so they aren't just surviving paycheck to paycheck, but are actually staying long-term and contributing. You want them to grow rather than becoming what the source material vividly calls weeds that just end up choking out productivity and morale. Moving right along to part two, the unique retail arena, specifically looking at frontline versus back-end operations. You see, retail HR is a completely different beast compared to other industries. Take manufacturing, for example. Those workers are in the back end. They never see the end user. But retail employees, they interact with customers every single minute. The consumer's literally right there on the shop floor, making the whole environment super volatile and unpredictable. These employees are often pulling 10 to 11-hour shifts on their feet the whole time with barely any breaks. And that severely tests their emotional balance, especially when they're dealing with peak sales hours, huge crowds, and complex customer complaints that demand an immediate fix. Because of this constant face-to-face interaction, front-end retail employees are the literal brand ambassadors. They aren't just scanning barcodes. They're simultaneously acting as service designers who tailor solutions on the spot, technicians who know the products inside out, and empathizers building a personal bond with a customer. The entire organization's success, its reputation, and its bottom line hinge directly on their daily performance and emotional resilience on that floor. Which brings us to part three, the core activities of HRM, or basically the blueprint. So how do you actually build a team of these multi-talented brand ambassadors? Well, it all starts with human resource planning. Management expert Dale Yoder defines this perfectly as getting the right people in the right place at the precise right time. It's essentially a mathematical and strategic balancing act. If a store wants to boost sales by 20% over the holidays, HR has to translate that broad goal into the exact number of people and the specific skills needed on the floor at any given hour. Beyond that initial planning, the HR engine is just a relentless, fast-paced cycle. We're talking constant recruiting and training for cross-functional roles, like smoothly shifting someone from the register to visual merchandising as the day goes on. They've got to design attractive reward systems to keep turnover low, handle union relations, and squash daily grievances. Plus, they need to keep everyone up to speed on modern consumer trends, like buy online, pick up in store, which completely changes the traditional rhythm of the retail floor. Okay, moving to part four, the roles of the HR manager, the captain steering this whole ship. To manage this massive, complex operation, the HR manager literally wears a dozen different hats. They have to be a problem solver and mediator, constantly smoothing out conflicts that naturally bubble up in a high-pressure environment. They're a change agent, helping staff adapt to new software or corporate policies. But honestly, their most profound role is acting as a humanitarian. You have to remember, entry-level retail workers are often young, sometimes at their very first job. The HR manager is there to remind leadership of their ethical obligations, making sure these employees are treated as real human beings with needs and aspirations, not just cogs in a machine meant to maximize profit. Let's get into part five. The daily hurdles for HR, looking at the real operational challenges on the ground. Because, look, theories are great, but execution is really tough. Every single day, HR managers have to figure out how to instill a genuine sense of ownership in their staff. They need to motivate employees to hit 100% efficacy, which is incredibly hard when intrinsic motivation varies so much, especially with repetitive tasks. They also have to harmonize highly diverse workforces, navigating different cultures and communication styles, especially in big cities. And amidst all that, they somehow have to identify and develop true leaders from within the ranks who can step up and motivate a team right there on the retail floor. Finally, Part 6, Emerging Challenges in HRM, Looking Toward the Horizon. Zooming out to the macro level, there are massive forces threatening the retail HR landscape right now. Everything is transforming at breakneck speed. For instance, as retail aggressively adopts more tech and automation, think self-checkout kiosks, AI inventory, automated customer service, HR faces the brutal challenge of managing layoffs and retrenchment, and they have to do this while strictly navigating incredibly complex labor laws to ensure every single move is compliant and fair. Which brings up a really critical question that every HR professional is wrestling with right now. How do you successfully balance technological efficiency with the human element? It's a huge challenge to optimize the bottom line without totally destroying store morale when machines start doing the jobs people used to do. You need the remaining employees to feel secure rather than feeling like they're just racing against an algorithm that's inevitably going to replace them too. Add to that the intense pressures of globalization and the deep anxiety that comes with constant corporate reorganizations, like international mergers. Suddenly, managers are dealing with unfamiliar global laws and totally different corporate cultures. Plus, the workforce demographic is shifting. Today's employees aren't just looking for a simple paycheck or traditional job security. They are increasingly demanding true empowerment, a meaningful voice in operations, and genuine equality with management. The old top-down command structure? Yeah, it simply doesn't work anymore. Crucially, in the middle of all this rapid change, HR has to act as a shield. As our sources point out, there is a vital societal objective here, ensuring that in the ruthless pursuit of global competition and productivity, the rightful jobs of society's weaker sections, like women, minorities, and backward communities, are never sacrificed or marginalized. It's a core responsibility of HR to make sure the playing field stays level, even when the pressure to cut cost is at an absolute all-time high. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought about the future of retail management. We've seen just how incredibly complex and vital the human element is to a store's success. It's literally the lifeblood of the customer experience. So the ultimate challenge on the horizon is this. Can we truly balance ruthless global efficiency and technological automation with the essential, empathetic human touch that actually keeps customers coming back?